Hi there. So today I was going to show you how I'm going to paint this cute little baby face that I've sculpted out of the Pro Sculpt Ethnic color clay. Alright, so first I'm just going to take some of my blushing color and just darken up the eyes. Just add a little bit of pink to it. Now instead of my regular light blushing color, I'm using more of a darker red, more of a crimson color. And that just kind of helps to keep the pinkish hue coming through the darker ethnic shade of this clay. I also have just a little bit on the lips. And now at this point I'm going to heat setter with a Genesis heat gun so I can get all these colors to be set. Alright, so next what I need to do is take a little bit of white and kind of fill in these eyes. Just so we'll have a nice background to work with later. You want to go ahead and let the color of the clay kind of bleed through so we don't have a stark white colored eyeball anyway. There, she's starting to come to life a little bit. Kind of looks a little bit like a zombie at the moment, but you can see where we're headed a bit better with those eyes in place. And I'm just going to do just one layer right now because I don't want it to be very white. I want it to be more of an off-white color, but I will kind of keep brushing at it until it starts to thin out a little bit like this eye on the right is. Get that in focus for you a little better. Okay, and then next I'm going to heat set these with my heat gun. That little bit of white down there by the eye, I'm going to take a little rubber tip tool and wipe that away first. The great thing about Genesis paints is that you can wipe away anything that you want to remove. Here we have our little rubber tip tool. And we can just wipe that little mistake out of there. Alright, now she's ready to be heat set. Before I heat set her though, I'm going to put one more little coat on her little lips. That way we can be kind of darkening them a bit. Usually I use a smaller brush for this. But this is the one I have handy, so I'm just kind of just barely dabbing it on there. And then I also want to do her cheeks just a little bit more too. And then a little on the forehead. This is just so we've got a little bit more dimension and variation of hues. Okay, there we go. Alright, something else you might want to do is to take some burnt umber and really thin it down and then just kind of put it all over this face. We're going to kind of just put it on there and wipe away. And again, this is just going to add in just a little bit more dimension as well. And it helps you kind of liven up this, kind of the flat color of this Pro Sculpt because it is awesome for being a great base color. But to make it be a little bit more lifelike in the skin tones, you're not really having the light affect it the way you do with the lighter flesh colors. And so it's nice to add in just a little bit of shadowing with this wash, basically, of a burnt umber color. And this is something that Jack Johnston would teach as well, though he tends to do it with an acrylic wash. Either way you do it though, it really kind of helps to add more dimension to the flesh color here in the ethnic shade. Alright, now I'm going to heat set that too so it's not all shiny. Alright, So now we're ready to start working on her eyes. So I'm just taking an umber color and just filling in a circle shape. Keeping in mind that the top part of the eye is going to be covering the top of the circle. So I usually just use a series of dots. And I like to dip my paint quite a bit. So there's always plenty on this little brush. That one's got a little bit more of the gold showing through. I've played around with some colors, one with some gold. That's where we will get to, but first I want it to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to do this again with just a darker, pure shade without any gold mixed in. But that gives you the idea of how you make some cute little irises. Alright, so there she is. That's just with both eyes filled in. And I kind of started out with that lighter color unintentionally a bit because I've been playing around with it on my paintbrush, but it kind of, sorry I got crazy there. It kind of worked out pretty well because as I was brushing with the burnt umber color on her eyes, if it would get too thin, kind of the gold part would kind of come through that I had painted previously, so that's kind of a cool effect. But unintentional, yet still a cool effect, so I'm going to remember that one. But anyway, so now I'm going to actually intentionally now add a little bit more gold to the eyes, just so we can brighten them up a little bit. Now I'm letting this gold just be added additionally to whatever brown is still on my brush. I'm just hitting the center of the iris now. See that? That's a good shot of it. I want to leave a ring around the outside of the iris. Just remember you want to make sure it's not complete circle because the top part of the iris is covered and the bottom part is covered just slightly by the eyelids. So it's not going to be completely round. The only time they're completely round is when you're afraid. We don't want this little baby to be startled. Now I'm going to heat set that. There, that's how she's looking so far. And next we need to go through and add some pupils. A little bit more light on her there. There we go. Alright, to do the pupil, what we want to do is we just have a little bit of the black on our rubber tip tool. And we just kind of start adding in. It's kind of a bunch of little dots, but we're all trying to get it to be one pupil, right? One nice little round circle there. There it is. I'll repeat that for the other side. Alright, that looks pretty cute, huh? Just with the addition of pupils there. Now I'm going to do a little bit of lining on her eyelids. And then probably add a few more dots and things into those eyes too, just kind of liven them up a bit. Alright, so now I just have a little bit of the burnt umber. And I'm just going to be kind of just lining those eyelids. Just to kind of emphasize them a bit more. Just like that. And down below as well. So I'll repeat that for the other side too. Just kind of bring them to life a little bit more. Alright, isn't that darling? Now I've added just a tiny bit of black to the top lid too, just to kind of darken it a little. And now I'm going to kind of darken the crease in her eyelid with a little bit of burnt umber. And then I'm going to add a few highlights, yes, a few highlights into the eyes, which are a new word called highlights. So that's what I'll be doing too. Alright, so now I'm taking just a teeny bit of yellow I already did just a tiny bit on this one, but I'm then just kind of dotting along where I wanted to kind of brighten up this color a little bit, kind of give a little bit of illusion of some light passing through the cornea and showing up down here underneath the pupil, which is very common. That's how light goes through our eyes. Alright, just to kind of give them a little bit more brightness, and now I'm going to add a little bit of specks to the whites of the eye too. Alright, and then this one already has just a little speck that kind of showed up there on its own, so I'm liking the placement of it. So I'm going to kind of make it a little bit more intentional and give this eye the same little highlight right there. Just that little step makes it look so much more lifelike. Alright, and now, just like right here, just a little highlight on either side, right in the white of the eye. This just tends to brighten them up just a tiny bit. There, that looks cute. Alright, so now I just go through and I take a little bit of burnt umber and I'm going to go through these creases and just darken them just a little bit. And then since this is burnt umber, which is just a little bit darker shade of this ethnic color, I'm just going to use it as a shading color. So I'm going to go around the nose, kind of emphasize the little bits of shadow that I want to be showing. Like that. Now I'm going to do some more work on those lips. So the lips, I just have a little bit of red and crimson mixed up with a little bit of that brown, because essentially I just didn't rinse my brush. Just added the red right on top. Alright, so we've got some cute little lips now too. Alright, and then I'm just going to add in cute little eyebrow. I can kind of see the impression I left in the clay when I was sculpting this to kind of show me about where I wanted it. And this is just a little baby, so we don't want it to be that dark. But now what I can do is go through, scrape away part of the paint. Just leave it like that. There, she has a cute little eyebrow. I'll heat set it so she's not so shiny. Alrighty, now we're ready for the last little step, which is, I'm using a little bit of triple thick this time for her lips. And I want to make sure it's just a real thin layer. Just to try to give just a little bit of shine there. Perfect. And then I want to do the same thing for her eyes. Just give it some gloss. There we go. See how that just makes it so cute? Repeat for this eye. There we go. And that is how you paint a baby face in the Pro Sculpt Ethnic Color clay. There she is with her little glossy eyes and glossy lips. Here she is under a little bit different lighting. Hope you enjoyed watching.